Be live on the radio in 37 seconds. We got a lot to cover. And, of course, your calls. If you're on hold, stand by. Here we go. 25 seconds. Any lab test now at Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test. Here we go. At 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1977.
All right, welcome everyone. It's Thursday, August 29th, 2024, one day closer to the return of the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, to the White House. A lot has happened. I mean, every day a lot has happened, right? It's amazing. I for the life of me, I don't understand why President Trump going to Arlington National Cemetery to honor fallen service personnel is dishonorable. But getting them killed because you're a senile old coot who shouldn't be running anything, getting them killed, that's not dishonorable. You know, what happened with that Afghanistan withdrawal was this, okay? A lot of things happened, but I'll tell you what the main problem was. Joe Biden, who's totally out of it now, I mean, he is literally at the beach. He's done. But he was having these moments in and out of total Alzheimer's-like dementia at the time of the Afghan withdrawal. And because of his dementia, he was getting pushed around by everyone. And he got it in his head that he was going to prove to everybody that he wears the big boy pants, that he's the president, he's the commander-in-chief. And he started barking off orders that led to Americans being killed. You know, the withdrawal from Afghanistan was also a big payoff to a lot of bad people in this government. Remember, President Trump's talked about this several times. President Trump wanted to fly some of the planes out, and Milley said it was too expensive to leave them behind. Why do you think that is? Because the military-industrial contractors get to sell them to us again. It was a withdrawal worse than the withdrawal from Vietnam. And that's saying a lot. It wasn't really portrayed that way because the media are always covering for these Democrats. But somehow, even though the disaster in Vietnam was brought to you by Democrats, because Republicans were in office when Saigon fell, you got to see a lot of it, and there's a lot of history. And they still talk about it today because they see it as a way to bash Democrats. But, you know, if you remember, they left behind at our U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan the names, addresses, and phone numbers of all of the Afghans that the United States government was paying who were working from us. How many of them are dead now? How many of them have had their families wiped out by the Taliban? Right? I mean, we could spend probably an entire week just going over the disaster itself and the scandals involved in it. And it's beyond disgusting, I'm here to tell you. And to say that President Trump did something dishonorable by going to Arlington to honor those fallen service personnel is insane to me. Have any of you been to Arlington? If you haven't, you should go. It's really an amazing place to go, and if you just go on the tour and you're just looking, you see a lot of famous names on headstones, presidents, famous war heroes. I saw Pappy Boynton's headstone. They have the ones from the Challenger in Columbia, of course, the Kennedy's buried there, you know, and it's an amazing place to go to. But how dare they? And, you know, and President Trump was invited by the family. You know, J.D. Vance is amazing, isn't he? Have you been watching him lately? After the first break, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to your calls. But after the first break, I am going to play that little exchange that he had at his event yesterday where they asked him about Afghanistan and Arlington and Kamala and his response that everyone's talking about. But they're having meltdowns here. Here's a story in NPR. You know, all this money that they want to raise our taxes with, that, you know, the Democrats, they want the Trump tax cuts to expire. They'll come in with all these new taxes. They need more money. The government has plenty of money. They just spend too much. Like National Public Radio, how much money do they get? They're so irrelevant. But anyway, this is a story. Trump campaign staff had altercation with official at Arlington National Cemetery. This is in National Public Radio's website, NPR's website, okay? So this is a very liberally biased story, but I want to read it. 2 members of Donald Trump's campaign staff, according to National Public Radio, had a verbal and physical altercation Monday with an official at Arlington National Cemetery where the president participated in a wreath-laying ceremony. A source with knowledge of the incident told NPR that the cemetery official tried to prevent Trump staffers from filming and photographing in a section where recent U.S. casualties are buried. The source said Arlington officials had made clear that only cemetery staff members would be authorized to take photographs or film in the area known as Section 60. When the cemetery official tried to prevent Trump campaign staff from entering Section 60, campaign staff verbally abused and pushed the official aside, according to the source. Trump participated in an event to mark the 3rd anniversary of a deadly attack on U.S. troops in Afghanistan. During the withdrawal, 13 were killed thanks to Biden and Kamala Harris. The Trump campaign blamed President Biden and Vice President Harris. In a statement to NPR, Stephen Chung, the Trump campaign spokesman, rejected the notion of a physical altercation, saying this: "We are prepared to release footage if such defamatory claims are made." See, this physical altercation, the Trump campaign is saying it did not happen. Fake news. The fact is that a private photographer was permitted on the premises, and for whatever reason, an unnamed individual, clearly suffering from a mental health episode, decided to physically block members of President Trump's team during a very solemn ceremony, Chung said in the statement. Remember, he's an official spokesperson for President Trump. The Trump campaign declined to make the footage immediately available. They did release a TikTok video including Trump's visit to the area. Late Tuesday night, President Trump posted a photo on social media of the Gold Star families who had invited him. In the post, the families thanked the president and said they had invited the campaign to film in Section 60. But they're saying it's against federal law, which prohibits political campaign or election-related activities within the cemeteries. Does federal law forbid you arresting presidents on trumped-up charges and going to grand juries and getting charges against them when they've done nothing wrong too, 70 days away from the election? So JD, I'm going to play JD's exchange after the break. All of a sudden, the Democrats have respect for our service personnel. They're dead because of them. They're dead because they put an Alzheimer's patient in the White House as the commander-in-chief and a bird brain as the vice president. Okay? That's why those 13 are dead. I'm sorry to say. They would be alive today, all 13 of them, if we had a competent president in there. They basically, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden committed manslaughter there. He had and I'll tell you, there's a lot of enablers around him that are responsible as well. He had a mental break. Kamala Harris has a duty to intervene and invoke the 25th Amendment when the president is mentally or physically incapacitated. He obviously is mentally incapacitated, has been since day one, and she has blood on her hands for those 13. And I'm going to tell you another thing. You know those 2 astronauts that are stranded in space? Do you know who is in charge of the entire American space program and NASA? Who's the overall in charge? Kamala Harris. She's not just the border czar. She's in charge of all of NASA, all of our space flights and everything. So those 2 people that are stranded in space, it's because of Kamala Harris and her oversight, like at the border. I know people aren't talking about that, and it doesn't seem all that important in some ways compared to so many other things. I get it, and I'm not disagreeing with that. Kamala Harris is in charge of two things, and they're disasters. The space program and the border czar. She's in charge of two things, and both of them have failed. Well, maybe what's going on at the southern border is by design. All right, we'll take our first break of the day. My name's Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Tom Laporta and Laporta Roofing. You know, Tom Laporta, he's a good MAGA guy, and he'll never sell you a roof you do not need. If you're in Florida and you need a roof repair or replacement, call him. He works with every type of structure, both residential and commercial, and he also works with every type of roofing material there is as well. And I have met and talked to many a listener who have had roof repairs and replacements done by Tom Laporta, and they love the guy. I'm going to give you his cell phone in just a moment. Now, if you have a homeowners association, or you're in a condo and you have one of those condo commando things going on, Tom Laporta is an expert dealing with HOAs and condo boards. He just has a way with them, And also, of course, Tom Laporta, he's not just a roofer, he's also a contractor, which means under Florida law, he's able to deal directly with your insurance company for the cost of the repair or the replacement, whether it's residential or commercial. So give him a call. Here is his number, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Make sure you tell him I told you about him, all right? 954-604-4602. Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. He will never sell you a roof you do not need. We'll be right back. Welcome, everyone. Hey guys, welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Everyone, please like the video. That helps so much, guys. We'll be back shortly.
And you're all invited. This time, we're sailing for 7 nights on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent, to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties, much more. Call the Inn at Cruise and Travel Depot right now. 561-244-5779. 561-244.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
No, I just sent it. The board's having problems on my end this morning.
Oh, really?
So I was on the phone with Dave and Mike.
What's the problem?
I can't hear you through the monitors. And then when I tried listening to my weather, I couldn't hear the weather. So Mike's like trying to see if it works with headphones, and it worked with headphones. So
Are the speakers in program?
I think so. I FaceTime Vic to show him everything, and everything looked fine. It just not playing everything. It's like the strangest thing. So I have everything coming through the headphone view, and I think it's just the monitor itself. I'm not really sure. Like the speakers itself, I should say.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
All right, we are back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Yeah, Kamala Harris is the head of the National Space Council. And the National Space Council that Kamala Harris leads is in charge of everything involving space in the United States, whether it's NASA or somebody doing something out in California. She is in charge of all of it. And, I have not, because I like NASA. I follow it. And I watch as many of the SpaceX launches as I can. When I was in elementary school, when I first moved to Florida, they used to take us out of school during the shuttle launches so we could watch the space shuttle launch. And it's pretty cool. So I've always followed NASA. By the way, if you've not been to Cape Kennedy, go. It is incredible. It's like it's better than the Smithsonian, really, because it's like real. It's amazing. But anyway, Kamala Harris is in charge of the National Space. By the way, Mike, you have cute pink headphones. I don't know why Mike has pink headphones. You have you have pink headphones. You're not transitioning, are you? I don't know. Mike's got some hot pink Hello Kitty princess headphones on, so I don't know. You're not transitioning. Okay. All right. Just got to make sure because, I got to get, I don't want to have to get in all that pronoun stuff and get us in trouble if I mess it up. But he's not. It's just the other headphones are broken. Those are the only headphones left. Who uses those? Those must be Al Knight's. Those got to be Al Knight's, the hot pair. Are those yours, Al Knight? The Hello Kitty headphones? Anyway, seriously speaking, though, there are 2 astronauts stranded on the space station. Okay? And they're going to be there till next year. And I know everybody wants to blame Boeing. Kamala Harris is running for President of the United States of America. She wants to be in charge of everything the United States does. She is in charge of 2 things and 2 things only. She's the border czar, and she's the chair of the National Space Council. The 2 things that she's in charge of, both are disasters right now. People are dying and being victimized every day because of her failure as the border czar, and there are 2 astronauts stranded on the space station, and she's the chair of the National Space Council. I don't even think the media know that. The head of NASA is Bill Nelson. He used to be our senator, and he was an astronaut. When he was in the House of Representatives, he went up on a space shuttle. So they made him the head of NASA because he lost his Senate race, and it was embarrassing, so they gave him a job to make him feel important as the NASA administrator. But Kamala Harris is his boss. The administrator of NASA answers to the vice president, who is the chairperson of the National Space Council. Have you heard anybody bring this up? This is important. When Hillary Clinton was running for president, she had one moment that she was in charge of something, Benghazi, and it was a disaster. Okay? And we were talking at the time, and this is right to say that, well, wait a minute. People are dead, including an American ambassador in Benghazi under her supervision as Secretary of State. She had the only executive experience that Hillary Clinton ever had was Benghazi. And remember, the ambassador couldn't even get her on the phone. He didn't have her cell phone number. Ben Affleck had Hillary Clinton's cell phone number, but Chris Stevens, the U.S. ambassador in Libya, did not. And he was desperate on the phones trying to get her on the phone because he knew they were going to be killed. Okay? And people were saying, well, hey, how are you going to put her in charge of a country? Look at this. I'm sorry, it was the 2016 race that she was running against Trump, not 08. But that's what happened. They said, look, she's incompetent. Her executive experience is Benghazi. Kamala Harris, her executive experience is border czar, okay? Border czar, where Americans have been raped, murdered. There's a slave trade going on, labor slavery, sex slavery, a drug trade going on, all under her watch as the border czar. And now we have 2 astronauts stranded in space, and she's in charge of everything involving space in the United States as the chair of the National Space Council. She's in charge of 2 things, and there's a disaster at each of them. All right? You want to put her in charge of everything? Oh, by the way, Renee from Harlem called in yesterday, and I pressed him, why does he want to vote for Kamala? What's she going to do? He said Medicare for all. Well, hey, Renee from Harlem, Kamala Harris's spokesperson said she no longer supports Medicare for all. She took that back yesterday, so maybe she lost Renee from Harlem's support. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll get to the J.D. Vance audio when we get back. J.D. Vance was just kicking butt all over the place. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, back right after this.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Throughout the day, though, temperatures going to reach as high as 89 degrees with partly cloudy conditions from 7 to 9 a.m. with thunderstorms expected after 9 a.m. So make sure you keep an umbrella close by, stay cool, stay dry, and have a safe, wonderful rest of Thursday morning.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
All right.
Change their future in a single moment. See how far your support could go at unbound.org. That's Traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the poker room at PBKC with 65 tables of action, open daily for cash games, high hands, mega bad beat jackpots, and exciting tournaments. Grab your friends and check out the $10 poker party on Friday, August 30th. It's a great way for new players to experience tournament play.
All right. You got it? Did you get those files I sent you?
Yeah, I got it. Oh, wait, the one you texted earlier?
The presets and stuff. In that doc. I texted those to you.
Are you talking about the ones today, or are you talking about
Today.
Yeah, I haven't got it yet.
Oh, I just turned. What did I do? Did I turn the spots off?
No, because just do this. No, nothing's gonna affect anything that plays in there.
This is the studio. The studio's you, right?
Yeah. Well, you technically. Well, like studio, yeah, it comes from the speaker. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. I don't understand either.
Everything's on, so I don't know why it's not coming out.
What are the wires, Ryan? Oh, they're down there.
Yeah, I was about to say.
They come through there. I wonder if anybody stepped on the wires or something.
Well, I know the phone is disconnected. Well, like the phone here is disconnected, so maybe when they were messing with the
Yeah, they disconnected the wire.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm saying we could think of, like, we'll be here later, so you'll just mess with it. But yeah, try these settings with presets again.
Oh, they didn't come through on your text?
No. Well,
I sent you I sent you the presets, and I sent you the a Word document kind of thing.
Yeah, the only two things.
Maybe I sent them to somebody else.
The Wednesday and this one's.
Oh, I sent them to somebody else by accident. I sent them to our travel agent.
Great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay, and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. So
Okay. Okay, there's the presets. See if they went through.
call me on my cell at 954.
Delivered. Okay, and the document I'm going to send you is a link to a YouTube video that it teaches you how to use them, and then there's like timestamps on it.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you about how my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Hamilton, has rid me of pain.
Yeah.
And arthritis pain with his laser.
I learned I learned how to use Adobe Audition from that guy.
One of our callers who called me live on the radio to tell me how chiropractic physician Dr. Philip Appleton helped him with his laser away pain treatment.
Because before that, I was using Audacity. It's not that good. It's free, so everybody uses it.
I listened to this show since the mid-'80s. Thank you for introducing me to Dr. Hamilton, Brian and Steve. I went in there last week. I had a knee problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adobe, I know, has a lot more things to work with and like mess with. So.
Yeah.
I know when I look at CSP, they did it too.
Yeah.
Adobe, always all of them.
Everything's Adobe. Yeah.
Not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome. 954.
All right, stand by, guys. We'll be back shortly.
0710. Hey everyone, Brian Craig here. You asked Mike Lindell, and he listened. Mike's offering the queen size My Pillow for just $19.98 with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com. Plus, you could get the 6-piece My Pillow towel set for just $25. The bed sheets, they're $25 too. The new My Pillow mattress topper as low as $69.98. Go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code Kane for these huge discounts. You can also order by phone. 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com.
CutMyKilowatts.com.
This is Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com. I'm back.
We'll be back right after this.
Summer are upon us. Your AC is struggling, running constantly, trying to hold the temperature, maybe even failing late afternoon. Your electric bill has gone up, even doubled. Radiant Barrier is the cure. Stop the heat gain, lowering the temperatures in the attic up to 40 degrees, cutting the FPL bills up to 40%. Dog Days of Summer sale. Save 50% on Radiant Barrier and insulation removal, rat proofing. We even do AC ducts in the heat of the summer. Act now and get $500 off Radiant Barrier over 2,000 square feet and $1,000 off over 4,000 square feet, plus a 30% federal tax credit. So call now, 954-939-1500.
All right, we're coming back.
Call 954-939-1500.
10 seconds.
To the owner, Scott. That's 954-939-1500 or CutMyKilowatts.com. Estimates given on the phone. Work done in days, not weeks. Easier than ordering a pizza.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years.
All right, hang in there if you're on hold. A couple things here. I know I got a lot to get off my chest. You know, when J.D. Vance talks about childless cat ladies running the country, this is not a knock against those of you that don't have children. What that means is, he said it a long time ago, and it wasn't a lot of thought put into that. Now they want him completely defined by it, which is insane. You know how many things I say that I think about, I just say them, you know, and my whole life's going to be defined by them. But he said it, but it makes sense. And what he's talking about is these people like Kamala Harris, who has astronauts stranded in space and this border invasion going on, that all these people care about are themselves. They don't have children. So they don't care about the future. They just care about elevating themselves. Prestige, power, money. And, you know, when you're a parent, being a parent can be kind of scary. My wife and I you know, we're what they call those helicopter parents. And a lot of people my age that are Generation X, Gen X, are helicopter parents. And what that means is you're overprotective of your kids. Very overprotected, and I would, you know, too overprotected. But when you send them off to school, it's scary. The reason that is, by the way, is because of Adam Walsh. Because when Adam Walsh was kidnapped and murdered here in Florida, I didn't even live in Florida. I was in Ohio. That changed a lot, you know. And I was a little kid then, and so my wife was too. So those of us that were kids then, you know, we grew up and were parents and became these helicopter parents thing. But anyway. You send your kid to school, you trust that they are safe. You put your kid on a school bus, you trust that they are safe. You don't have to worry about them. California is dangerous as it gets. I'm going to play you a story from the local news in San Diego, California. You know, my daughter's grown up now, 25, living in Los Angeles, and my wife and I, we make her call us or text every day. We got to talk to her. And because she's in Los Angeles, I mean, you know, she's on the front lines of this invasion USA that's going on. Listen to this. This is chilling. This is local news out of San Diego. Oh, hold on a second here. Let me get it queued up. Local news out of San Diego. A group of illegals tried to hijack not one, but 2 school buses filled with elementary and middle school children in San Diego, California. Listen, local news.
Migrants tried to board a school bus this morning while it was traveling to a school. The superintendent for the Humboldt del Sur Union School District informed parents of that incident earlier today. It happened at one of the stops on the school district's bus route that heads to Oak Grove Middle School and Humboldt Primary. Meanwhile, yesterday afternoon, in a similar area along another route, the superintendent says that a group of migrants tried to stop another bus. Border Patrol, CHP, and the Sheriff's Office have now been informed of these incidents. The superintendent says that for the safety of everyone, if a driver sees a group of migrants at a bus stop, they will drive past it and move on to the next.
Well, what the hell? Well, the migrants could be dropping. What the hell were they going to? You know, this local news story. That's one of the most frightening stories I've ever heard. They tried to kidnap 2 school buses filled with middle school and elementary school students, these illegals in San Diego. By the way, have you seen this in the national news? No. Trump at Arlington, like that's a scandal. These are 2 teams that are here because of Kamala Harris. And of course, the question is, what were they going to do with those children on those 2 school buses if they were able to apprehend them? You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Richie. Good morning.
Oh, hey, Richie. Oh.
So many things going on. I can understand you talking like this. You could probably talk another 2 hours.
Easily.
Enough time. Because this is the most outrageous thing. On the way, I woke up this morning watching you go to work. And you said something really quick. And I said, bingo.
By the way, what Richie means is, Richie's not in my house. I make YouTube videos in the mornings before I come to the radio station. Sometimes I do them from home, And I made a video as I was driving into the radio station this morning. So that's what he means. He was watching me off to work. I don't want people to think Richie's like, sleeping next to me in bed. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel you're my friend. Believe me. Listen, here's the deal. You said something that shocked me, and I don't even really think you realize what you said. You said that this guy that's the vice president, Wolf, is her handler.
Mm-hmm. I know for the CCP. I know what I was saying. Absolutely, he is her CCP handler. Exactly.
He's watching everything she says. She can't talk unless he's there. And he's such a liar. I mean, he's such a phony. I never seen two people that are so phony. Her with the laugh and the waving and the hands flailing all over the place, and him with the same crap. He looks like Richard Simmons. Like they have that film of Richard Simmons coming up. It's no man's like this. This guy is a total phony.
Well, if you go back and watch interviews with him when he was in the House of Representatives, he's very normal, not this goofy clown. That's an act.
This is a whole act. The whole thing is an act.
He's a very sophisticated, smooth operator who is an asset for China. Now you were on. When you guys are on hold, you hear the delay. Okay, you don't hear live on hold. You hear the delay. Did you hear the story about that I played from California yesterday? Two teams of illegals tried to kidnap 2 busloads of elementary and middle school students in California, and it's. Have you seen that anywhere in the news?
No, but that's
what the hell.
You mentioned on the way to work that TikTok has been the biggest disaster in the States run by China. And I disagree with you. I think the biggest disaster is our own media and Silicon Valley.
Yeah. They both do their thing. A fake campaign, that's exactly right. This story about the school buses with the illegals, what were they going to do with those kids if they capture, San Diego's on the border. Were they going to take them south of the border?
Horrible. And they're worried, like you said, they're worried about President Trump. Let me tell you something, worried about President Trump. He goes to Arlington, okay? They do have this rule. It's not a law, it's a rule, okay? But the fact of the matter is, why would Kamala, why would she want anyone to see ex-president paying respects to people that they got killed?
Yeah.
Why would she do that?
Yeah.
She's sitting she's on some kind of school bus running around the country talking to elementary school children like she's doing a storybook.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the most outrageous crap I've ever seen in my life.
Well, because they're upset that there's been a spotlight put on her screw up. She got those 13 killed. She's like an accessory to manslaughter. She's like a manslaughter accessory,
And you also brought up this. I'm going to go quick here. You brought up the space deal, equity and diverse inequity, or whatever they call that crap. That's Boeing. You know that they have paid Boeing twice the amount of the government contract with Boeing is twice the amount of money.
But listen, Richie, this thing is, this is important. Okay, everybody remembers Apollo 13 because of the movie. With Tom Hanks and Kevin Bacon and Bill Paxton. And when Apollo 13 was up there, the best and the brightest at NASA got together and they got them home. Okay? This is an important thing. Kamala Harris wants to be in charge of every aspect of the United States government. She is in charge of 2 things. She's the border czar, and she's the chair of the National Space Council. Both of them have disasters. We have 2 astronauts stranded in space until next year, okay? And thank the Lord that Elon Musk, who has endorsed President Trump, he's going to send a rocket up to get them next year. And then the border and the border invasion that's going on with who knows how many Americans dead and victimized because of that. She's in charge of 2 things. That's her executive experience. And they're both failures right now. And I think it's important to highlight them. Now, as a bus driver, I mean, I cannot imagine. I know you didn't drive a school bus, but there's a story in Town Hall today in New York City. Half of the people that ride the city buses are not paying. They're just getting on, and they're not paying. What would you do if people were getting on your bus and they wouldn't pay the fare? Would you just let them go? What would you do?
Brian, the way it is today, you just let them go.
You just let them go?
Matter of fact, you're riding around a bus full of people. You don't understand the language that's on the bus. You don't understand. Right. Some of them are crazy people.
Yep.
You shut up and you hope you get through 8 hours without getting punched in the face, spit at, or actually shot.
So you let people ride for free if they didn't put money in?
100%.
Yeah. Half of the riders? Half the riders?
Yeah, they don't care. What is it? Put them in hotels for $500 a night rooms. You think they care about a fare?
Oh, my goodness.
Everything is screwed. Everything is screwed in this country. People.
I know this seems like a minor thing. Why do you care, right? You say, why do you care? Well, I don't know how many illegals are. All they do, it goes to the mindset of the illegals that Kamala's bringing here. They come here, they suck off the taxpayer. They're completely living for free. They're retired, okay, and they won't even pay the damn bus fare. I mean, there's such a drain on our economy.
Store.
No, they
go to a store and they steal.
Yeah.
They go to a department store. They had to close Target up in the big mall downtown Manhattan.
Yes.
Target shut down because they were stealing everything in the store. And the only thing left there now is the Costco's, and they're worried that Costco's.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mall down there. I'm going to tell you, the whole thing is a disaster. But Steve got all upset yesterday, and then I forgot his name. He called up from Maine,
Jeff from Maine.
I know he's going to call. He was upset and everything. Jeff, I watch every day, and I watch all day long. Brian is 150% right. Her deal right now is in a total collapse. They are totally collapsing before our eyes. She has peaked. She had no push out of the convention. She's on her way down the toilet. America's waking up. The only thing I worry about is your early voting.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to know.
Well, the thing is, since the Trump family took over the RNC, Laura Trump is in charge of all of that, and they have, and for the very first time ever, the Republican Party nationally is going to have a very organized early vote that we never have had before. Yeah. Listen, Richie, I gotta run. I'm late for the break, but thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show. This Labor Day Kia sales event will be held at one location only. City Kia of Greater Orlando, just off the Florida Turnpike.
Great. With those headphones, when I first started in radio, it's been so long, the headphones weren't like we have now, right? They were bigger and all that stuff. And I didn't think about it. But when they tore apart the old, when they moved out of Boca, they tore everything apart, right? And took it down. And
Like a mess?
Yeah, I made a YouTube video of it. It's on my channel. But there was, I guess, hidden under some old control. I found there was an old pair of headphones. They must have weighed 10 pounds. I couldn't believe it. I used to wear headphones like that. Those weighed like a couple ounces. They were like 5 pounds. They were like so heavy.
Are those the reasons why I'm thinking of DJ stuff? I was gonna say like they keep it around their necks and they keep it like this?
Probably, yeah, because I would imagine you give you headaches and backaches. They were really big, and they're metal, and they're kind of like a manila color, like a manila envelope kind of color. I don't remember them being so heavy because that's all you had back then.
You're used to it. You didn't think about it until you changed the headphones. Like, wait a second.
Well, the first radio station I worked at with Steve, the equipment was really old, and I might have told you this. There was I saw a special from the 70s, a news story from the 70s about they interviewed a guy from that radio station, and it was in the like 76, 70s. It had the same board that I was using.
We had an old board until I started.
Yeah, it was old. It was. All righty, it is 51 minutes after the hour. Callers on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-465-2631. Yeah, so Kamala's in charge of two things, both of them a disaster. I got a panicked call from Steve yesterday, and I really didn't even want to take the call, because I knew I saw the story, and I knew there's a new Fox poll with Kamala up somewhere. Come on, it's just ridiculous. Mark Halperin is a pretty sharp guy. He's on Newsmax all the time. I'm going to play. This is Mark. You guys know Mark Halperin. Here he is talking about the poll. And he's talking about the polls that we see, which are public, and then the private polls. Listen to this. This is yesterday.
There's some public polling already. There's more coming. And there's some private polling that suggests that nationally in the battleground states, she's not ahead. She might be ahead on paper, but well within the margin of error. And there's some battleground states now where I think Donald Trump's on this trajectory is going to be ahead. And it may be, regardless of what happens in the interview, regardless what happens in the debate, it may be that by the middle of September, when things have calmed down, when the Trump campaign have had time to prey on some of the weaknesses that I suggested, that he's ahead in all the Sun Belt states, and ahead in Pennsylvania, and competitive in Michigan and Wisconsin, which would be roughly where Joe Biden was before the debate, with a single path to 270 electoral votes, the 3 Great Lakes states and Nebraska too. And that would be a scary position for the Democratic Party to be in from mid-September through Election Day.
Yeah. So the private polls, and I'm assuming that those internal polls, there's all kinds of things that the campaigns have to agree on to not make them public, right? I wish they would leak them out. That I have never followed the polls, and I know you hear me talk about them a lot because the news is talking about them, and I feel obligated to talk about them. They got her up in the southern states are being invaded right now. The local crime rates in the border states is through the roof. How could you be ahead in those states? It's insane. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
PJ from Broward.
Hey, PJ.
Yeah, hey, does anybody stop to think that interview tonight, it's like, to me, it's like bizarre because you have a border czar denialist in the form of Dana Bash interviewing the border czar. I mean, you have to go through an incredible denial of reality to deny that Kamala Harris is the border czar.
Yeah.
And yet, to me, that's disqualifying. Although she was one of the 2 people that did treat Trump nicely during.
Yeah, but Dana Bash's husband, Mr. Bash, is one of the 53 intelligence officials that signed that letter that said the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. I think that's a disqualifier too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of which, guess who's seeing the person that really pushed that whole laptop as Russian disinformation? that was initially pushed in a big way. I don't know if the name's familiar, but Natasha Bertrand at Politico, and now she works at CNN.
Oh, shocker.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be watching that tonight to see what's going on. You know, Megyn Kelly had the best line of all, describing Tim Walz hearing it, which is really weird too. But she described him as her emotional support governor.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, emotional support animal. I've heard some people saying that. I still stick with what I was talking about, that he's her CCP handler. But, you know, PJ, what I was talking about yesterday on the show, Kamala has had a series of sugar daddies throughout her life that she's turned to when she's needed help. So turning to a man, that's just what she does. It's very presidential. The sugar baby president.
Yeah, you know, I'm telling you something. I don't know. Knowing her background and everything, I'm going to be watching real carefully. You know, I'm gonna judge for myself tonight. The question in my mind, as soon as she comes on, just like when I saw Joe Biden. The moment I saw Joe Biden walk into the debate, I'm going, something wrong with this guy, just from the way he walked. So I'm going to be watching. My question in my mind is bottle or no bottle?
Yeah. You know, what I'm wondering is, because they haven't recorded the interview yet, have they? They're doing it today? Or have they done it? Yeah. They're doing it today. They're recording it today, right? You know, typically, if they were smart, what they would do is first do a one-on-one with her and Dana Bash and then bring Waltz in. But I mean, it seems to me it would be insane for them after the last day of discussion to start the interview with the two of them and have him there the whole time. You think they're really going to do that?
I don't know. Yeah, it does look like really, you know, as Scott Jennings said, it looks like really weak sauce. So if they bring them on at the same time, that is super weak sauce.
It is.
The question I have, do you know the answer to this? Do you know if they're going to make the full unedited interview available?
Of course not. Of course not. Are you kidding me? Of course not. That would be beautiful. Yeah. Why they would do it live if they were going to do that.
Yeah, but you said that CNN is secretly trying to dump that ticket, so there might be a possibility they will.
Well, that's the big question, okay? Because Dana Bash and Fake Tapper and CNN brought down Biden. Are they on board with Kamala, or do they? You know, this will kind of be a test, and it depends on the question she asks. You know, it depends on how, you know, when she moderated the debate with Fake Tapper with Trump, they behaved how you're supposed to behave. They were equal to both Biden and Trump. So let's see how she is tonight, you know, with this interview. I'll be watching it. Of course, we all got to watch it, and we'll be talking about it tomorrow. But, you know, the reason they don't do interviews, both her and Waltz, they're afraid of everything. Everything about the two of them is bad. There's not one redeeming quality about either of them.
By the way, they were, you know, and they don't do any big rallies. They were, like yesterday, near Savannah. They were at a school.
Yes.
You know, well, yeah, but that's a setup.
I saw her walk into a restaurant, and I didn't see any real customers in there. It looked like staff. Hey, PJ, I gotta run. Now, I want to tell you guys, the MyPillow that started it all with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, just $19.98 at MyPillow.com. It is amazing. You know, I was talking yesterday, I have the original pillow I bought, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and it looks like the day I got it, because everything Mike Lindell makes is high quality, machine washable and dryable. And in this era of just massive inflation, MyPillow is one of only 2 places I know of where prices have gone down. Friendly Tire, of course, and MyPillow. With our promo code Kane, you get the MyPillow for just $19.98. I paid $65 for that when I got it years ago. Worth every penny. I mean, a 10-year pillow, and it's like the day I got it. So go to MyPillow.com. Get your MyPillow. Great time to do your Christmas shopping. Load up. These prices are great. And free shipping on orders over $75 site-wide. Okay, go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and load up. Save up to 80% off throughout the site. Okay, 1 hour down, 2 to go. We'll come back with J.D. Vance. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back after our top of the hour break. What time does Barry call today?
43 break.
Okay.
From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Morone from the All Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Thursday, August 29th, 2024, and right now it's 78 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 89 degrees with partly cloudy conditions from 7 to 9 a.m. with thunderstorms expected after 9 a.m. So make sure you keep an umbrella close by, stay cool, stay dry, and have a safe, wonderful rest of the Thursday morning.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com.
I'll come back with JD.
Today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Heads up in Lake North, the right shoulder blocked with a crash 95 North, past 10th Avenue North. On the turnpike southbound.
Yeah, so yesterday I found out that not only do I have low testosterone, I have like very low testosterone for someone my age. That's I was like, oh, great. Great. So I'll be telling you guys more about that, but oh my goodness.
KC's Comedy and Dental Show season is underway with amazing events live in the paddock. Let it be November 8th, Jimmy Fallon for 2 nights, November 15th and 16th, Penny Nix November 22nd.
Barry's going to be coming in one morning to record commercials during the show. I've forgotten what day, though. Barry's going to come in to record commercials one morning during the show. I don't know what day, though. I forgot. But that's not a... You can record them while I'm on the air, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Do that, no problem.
Yeah. We'll be back after the next commercial.
Low T keeping you on the bench? Become the superstar you dream of being at Game Day Men's Health with expert licensed staff trained with clinical research. Game Day Men's Health crafts a playbook specialized for you to raise your testosterone levels and reach peak performance. Rejuvenate, energize, and feel like a champion with increased muscle mass and libido. Call 561-355-5341 or online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com/palm-beach-gardens. Score big at Game Day Men's Health.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with...
All righty, callers on hold, stand by. So yesterday, JD Vance is the most cool, bad vice president we'll ever have had. Was it last week, a week before, he walked across the tarmac to Air Force Two while Kamala was sitting there in her car. Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And he's been doing these rallies and speeches and taking questions from reporters. It's been incredible. Yesterday, JD, he had two events, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. I've forgotten which one this is. This might have been Pennsylvania. But he started taking questions randomly from the crowd. It turned into a town hall meeting. When Democrats do these town hall meetings, it's all fake. The people are all fake. It's like the magician when they take somebody out of the audience, they work for him, okay? That's what it is. But JD was taking random questions from random people in the audience. It was like me with the screenless calls. And this clip here, it's a little bit of a montage. It's a clip. He was asked about Kamala and Trump at Arlington, and it was beautiful. Listen to this. This is J.D. Vance yesterday. Here we go.
Tell us more about the altercation that happened at the Arlington Cemetery.
Okay, now this is that fake news story I was talking about at the beginning of the last hour. There's a fake news story that Trump's campaign staff got into a physical altercation at Arlington National Cemetery, which is a very sacred place, with a staffer from Arlington National Cemetery. The Trump campaign says it's all fake news, okay? But, they don't care. They spread the lies.
Tell us more about the altercation that happened at the Arlington Cemetery.
Well, I think, first of all, the altercation at Arlington Cemetery is the media creating a story where I really don't think that there is one. There is verifiable evidence. There is verifiable evidence that the campaign was allowed to have a photographer there. There's verifiable, they were invited to have a photographer there. There's verifiable evidence that the families of these poor people who had their loved ones die 3 years ago at Abbey Road, Abbey Gate, those 13 Americans, a lot of them were there with the president. They invited him to be there and to support them. That's not an insult to the memories of their loved ones. They wanted Donald Trump there, and thank God that we have a president who stands with our veterans instead of one who runs away from them. You know what I think our veterans care a lot more about? That Kamala Harris's VP nominee lied about his military service. I think that our veterans care a lot more about that. But to have those 13 Americans lose their lives and not fire a single person is disgraceful. Kamala Harris is disgraceful. We're going to talk about a story out of those 13 brave, innocent Americans who lost their lives. It's that Kamala Harris is so asleep at the wheel that she won't even do an investigation into what happened, and she wants to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. She can go to hell.
Don't you love it? Yeah, I like that. Oh, man. Don't you like that? Isn't he cool? I like him. And when he used that little bit of profanity, you could tell he doesn't use profanity. He was really reluctant to say it. That was a very bad word for him. All right, let's go to the phone. Is this going to be the best vice president? President Trump made a perfect pick with Vance. This guy is going to be our second MAGA president. 4 years from now, he'll be our nominee. One of these, this town hall was so random and real, organic. One person asked him if he's talked to Mike Pence to get advice on being a vice presidential candidate. That tells you how real it was. That ridiculous. Of course, who talks to Mike Pence? Mrs. Pence probably doesn't even talk to Mike Pence. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Cassandra and Doug.
Yes.
Yeah, man. This J.D. Vance, fantastic. What a difference between him and Pence, man. That Pence was Trump made a mistake by getting him, and he was sick, but Vance is fantastic.
He sure is.
Great. The other thing is, I was listening to President Trump yesterday, and I guess I got to give you credit. You said exactly what you say about the polls, how maybe they don't poll anybody really. He's been listening to you, I guess.
Well, he is staying at Fortress Mar-a-Lago.
Because without a doubt, that's probably what they do. They make up these polls. They don't.
One of these polls yesterday, I saw it was from Florida Atlantic University, and the national media are talking about it. They polled 953 registered voters. 953. Now, I went to college at Florida Atlantic University, and that, it's a good school. I graduated with honors, by the way, just so you know. But next to me, there's two other celebrity graduates from Florida Atlantic University, not including me. One of them, I can't remember her name. She's an adult film actress, okay? And Carrot Top. You know Carrot Top?
Oh, yeah, Carrot Top.
Carrot Top, the comedian who's transitioning. Yeah, so you got Carrot Top, a porn star, and me. We're the most... That's right. That's right. I'm sure there's a lot of people that go. I like Florida Atlantic University. Don't get me wrong, but come on to quote a poll from Florida Atlantic University in national news, and they only polled 953 people, and of registered voters. Something's weird about that. And by who they poll, and you're going to make a whole decision based on 953 people.
And it's with just phone calls, I would imagine. They're just making phone calls. They're not talking to anybody.
Or maybe they just filled them in.
Yeah. I think you and Trump got it right. I think these poll people there's probably a couple of good...
What oversight do you have that these pollsters really poll people? Right? What evidence do you have?
And then, like Trump said, they're making all kinds of money doing it, so I'm sure they're polling some people just not to get caught.
Well, it depends. Listen, there are some polling organizations that make a living out of polling, right? They do focus groups in polling because not just politicians, but businesses hire them to do focus groups in polling with people for corporations, for movies, for food at restaurants and things. But the polls that we see are media push polls that are designed so the media have a story. They have something to talk about. They're just not real. And I don't think there's any evidence that they really poll people.
There certainly is something to...
And I'll tell you another thing, too. MAGA people, most will not talk to a pollster if they call them anyway, because you think it might be the FBI trying to get you ensnared in some type of setup, right? Who's going to talk to... I'm not talking to a pollster.
I don't know if they call me. Don't call me anymore. I tell them, take my name off your list. And that's it. I don't talk to anybody yet because you never know who they are, like you said.
There's a scam call thing going. I don't know if any. They have these scams that go on, like they had one a few years ago. Your kid or grandkid's in jail. You need to send us bail money. There's a new one going around. They keep calling me and my wife, and they say they're from Bradford Exchange. And my wife and I, we have bought things from Bradford Exchange. So, my wife buys stuff from Bradford Exchange sometimes. And so it seems legit. And then all of a sudden they say they're from Chase Mortgage, and you owe them however many thousands of dollars. And if you don't pay today, you're going to be foreclosed on. And they have... And I have no business with Chase. So, they have been calling my wife and I for weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't know if any of you are getting these calls.
We're going to have to fix your computer because something's wrong with you.
Oh, something's wrong with your computer. Oh, yeah.
Another kind. Anyway.
Yeah, that'll get you too. Yeah.
The other thing I want to mention is, we got all these illegals coming in, and I'm surprised it's not worth it. That horror story of trying to take the bus of a load of two buses of kids, man. That could have been a real...
That's crazy. It could have been. Could you imagine?
Yeah, man. That would make me sick. I mean, that is sickening to think that they could do something like that. These people, we got enough nuts in America that Americans. We don't want nuts.
That's right. All right, I appreciate the call. I'm going to play that story again. I played this in the last hour. I got so much to get to today. There's no way we're going to get to even a quarter of my show prep. That's why I do all these different shows all the time. This is the local news in San Diego. I played this in the first hour. This is one of the most frightening stories as a parent that I've ever heard. This is local news, San Diego, California, yesterday.
A group of migrants tried to board a school bus this morning while it was traveling to a school. The superintendent for the Humboldt del Sur Union School District informed parents of that incident earlier today. It happened at one of the stops on the school district's bus route that heads to Oak Grove Middle School and Humboldt Primary. Meanwhile, yesterday afternoon, in a similar area along another route, the superintendent says that a group of migrants tried to stop another bus. Border Patrol, CHP, and the Sheriff's Office have now been informed of these incidents. The superintendent says that for the safety of everyone, if a driver sees a group of migrants at a bus stop, they will drive past it and move on to the next.
Oh, my goodness. So these are two different incidents. These are elementary and middle school students on these school buses. Separate incidents. First incident, Kamala's dreamers here, these illegals tried to get on a bus. The second one, a group tried to stop the bus and force their way onto the bus. And of course, the question is, what were they going to do with those children if they got on the bus and took the buses? And the local news, shame on them. They're not interviewing the bus driver. What happened here? How did the bus driver save these children? They don't want to highlight it. And this isn't the local news. I saw this online in one of my sources that I go to when I do my show prep this morning. I have not seen this story anywhere. And this is one of the biggest stories, in my opinion, that should be the lead. But they don't want to run it because these are Kamala's dreamers. Callers on hold, you stand by. I want to tell everyone about the Sloman's free doorbell camera offer. Guys, get this doorbell camera. This offer will end without notice. I'll just get an email and they'll say it's over. You know, you can't offer people the free doorbell camera with the installation of the Sloman Shield anymore. There will be no notice. It'll be gone. This is such a great thing to have. It is so convenient, too. It is so convenient, and it's a great security measure as well. You can, now, I'm going to give you the phone number, so get ready to write it down, okay? But you can get a free doorbell camera, just like I have, that connects directly to your phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. They give you an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery, plus the free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the...
All right.
My Pillow for just $19.98 with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com. Plus, you can get the 6-piece MyPillow towel set for just $25. The bed sheets, they're $25 too. The new MyPillow mattress topper as low as $69.98. Go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code Kane for these huge discounts. You can also order by phone. 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane, at mypillow.com.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 6.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FLA.
All right, 20 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back to our phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Sandra from Delray.
Hey, Sandra.
I just want to know. Hi, how you doing? I just wanted to know if you were aware of the New York Post headline yesterday. The front page.
Which was it?
Is the funniest thing. Okay, it says Harris for Trump, and she's wearing a MAGA hat because she's doing everything that he is proclaiming.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah.
It says, it's so funny. I sent it to a few people. They couldn't stop laughing.
You know, the New York Post. The New York Post is famous for their headlines, and this is true that the writers of the headlines for the front page and of the news stories at the New York Post are some of the highest paid people at the paper. And they've had, I remember when we invaded Afghanistan, right? They had a picture of a bunch of Taliban in the back of a pickup truck, and it said "Band on the Run," and that was pretty funny. Like "Band on the Run," you guys know the song. And they had one headline that was so famous because it was so funny that there was a movie made about it. A New York Post headline, front page story, and it was "Headless Body Found in Topless Bar." And they made a whole movie about this. Yeah, somebody got their head cut off in a topless bar. In fact, I remember a few years ago, I got Steve for Christmas, because he's into the New York Post. I got him a book, and it was just a book of front pages of the New York Post. It was like a picture book. Yeah.
Great. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
You have to look at this, Brian. It's yesterday.
I'll look for it. It's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
MAGA hat.
Okay, I'll look for it. I'll take a look at that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go back to the New York Post. Is pretty funny. I don't know. Headless body found in topless bar. I thought that was pretty funny. The Band on the Run was. You had to see it, I guess. You had to be there, but they are very funny headlines. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana Mark.
Hey, Mark.
You know, I heard what you reported about those two bus-load of kids, and that was horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
If those immigrants would have succeeded...
Kamala's dreamers, the illegals. I mean, San Diego's on the border. What were they going to do with those kids on those buses?
Those kids could have been handed over to the traffickers.
That's right. Brothels.
I saw that movie, The Sound of Freedom.
Mm.
I'll never forget that look in man's face when that man got those kids back to the father.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't imagine what that would feel like, but that...
You know, back in the 90s, there was a hijacking of a school bus by a madman with a gun in Miami. And I remember we were on the air, we were covering it, and it was right out of Dirty Harry. Remember in Dirty Harry, the guy? But this was real. This guy, he had a gun. He went onto a school bus and hijacked it, and it was live. It was on national news in Miami here, and because they had aerial photos, and he took it down to South Beach to Joe Stonecrabs. You guys remember that? I mean, you know, you send your kids on a school bus, you have. You typically 100% confidence that they're going to be okay. And this story here is being suppressed. Kamala's illegals, and it was two different incidents. The first one, they tried to board a bus, and the second one, they tried to block it and stop it.
But, you know, before the whole border thing, I saw videos of like in Europe where so many immigrants just went on the highway, they completely stopped the traffic.
Yeah.
I wish a lot of my Democrat friends would see this stuff. They would realize.
I don't have Democrat friends. I don't know why you would. I mean, what do you have in common with a Democrat to be friends with them?
We live in America, but they don't know anything.
You know, I had this thing happen. I mentioned this. A couple months ago when I went up, and if you guys follow me on YouTube, I went to that Star Trek set, and I got together with some friends of mine that I've known for 40 years, that I have not seen for 30 years, okay? And when we were kids and teenagers, we used to go to Star Trek conventions together, and I got together with them. I haven't seen or talked to these people in 30 years, since we were teenagers. And all we talked about back then was Star Trek. And all of us are MAGA. And we're on that Star Trek set. And I was like amazed by this, that we were all MAGA. And we went our own separate ways 30 years ago, hadn't seen each other, and all different walks of life, different parts of Florida, different parts of the United States. And it was like a reunion kind of thing. And it just blew my mind. You know, it really blew my mind. And, you know, there are more MAGA people in this country than you realize.
Between what you do with your radio show and these old guys that talk at the coffee shop, they're the only group of people I can actually really talk about the true events,
You know, I appreciate the call, Mark. You know, I was talking to Ian, our travel agent for Cruise and Travel Depot, yesterday. You know, we talk a couple times a week about stuff with the cruise. And Steve's bringing one of his sons, so we're setting that up and everything, doing some special stuff. And a lot of people that come on our cruise obviously are from the radio audience here locally, but people fly from all over the country and go on our cruises, all over the country, and which is really amazing. And that also just blows my mind that we're able to do that every single year. This is our 6th cruise. Would have been our 7th if it wasn't for the shutdowns. But I was talking to him about people that are coming from these blue states, and he told me that one of the things they say to him is they come from these blue states and they can't talk about Trump or MAGA or say conservative things. They have to keep their mouth shut and they're in the closet. And they like the cruise in part because they get to talk openly about how they believe about MAGA and everything. We have a great group. I didn't mean to turn this into a commercial, but I'm going to give out Ian's number. Join us on the cruise. We leave March 30th. It's my yearly vacation, and you are invited to join me and Steve Kane. Ian's number at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. We leave for a week, 7 days at sea, on March 30th out of Fort Lauderdale. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
Mm-hmm. If you're on hold, hang in there.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now,
spam calls and stuff like that. I get like literally like 10 calls a day of cash relief. I'm like, or need like what?
Yeah,
like, what the heck are you
and
calling me?
they've gotten smart. They have like Americans call now.
Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
You're too happy.
Used to be the Indian people from, we're from the IRS, and there's a warrant for your arrest, and if you don't pay us right now, the police will come.
It's like, all right, let them come.
Yeah.
I always was told if that ever happens, go to your nearest police station and ask if there's a warrant for your arrest.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, the local police don't arrest people for taxes.
Oh, yeah.
And you would get letters in the mail and stuff first that you were behind and
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They wouldn't call you and reach out to you personally.
Yeah.
Like that. They'll let you know. There's one I always call them back to make sure I get the do not call list. And one of them, it was like, I swear to you, I was like, you're the spammers. It was like, if you're a spam call or something like that, press this number. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
You're the ones like you're trying to make sure the other ones don't call you because
exactly.
You're also spam? Like what? I wanted to press it to just see what they would do, but I was like, you know what, not worth it.
No. It's best not to talk to him. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty funny. I just looked up that New York Post headline. It's pretty funny. I will. I'll put it on. I'll tweet it. See if I can. I just tweeted that New York Post headline that the caller was talking about. Yeah, Mike's from New York. We'll be back shortly.
Attention seniors, are you not happy with your current Medicare plan? If not, give Debbie at Iowa Advisors a call. 954-753-8080. That's 954-753-8080. There are 5-star rated plans that you can enroll in the middle of the year. That's right. You don't have to wait for opening moment. Debbie and her family have been taking care of Steve Kane Show listeners since 1993. Debbie even handles Steve Kane's...
Hey, Barry texted me. He can't do... Oh, Mike? No. Mike stepped out. right, we're coming back.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years.
All right, 35 minutes after the hour. Little high there. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I want to do a quick recap of a couple of things with Kamala that I'd like to hear some comments on, okay? One, I was talking about these stranded astronauts that are on the space station. They're there till next year. 2 astronauts, or American astronauts, stranded on the space station until next year. Trump will be president when they come home. At least they'll be coming home to a MAGA world. But they're stranded up there because of Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is the chairperson of the National Space Council. She is in charge of the entire American space program. All of it. The NASA administrator answers to her. Okay? Kamala Harris is in charge of 2 things. Space program, total disaster. American astronauts stranded in space till next year. And she's the border czar. She's in charge of the border. And you know what a disaster that is. I want to play this. I know some of you are taking the kids to school. This is local news and then we'll go to the phones. Local news out of San Diego, California yesterday. A story being suppressed by the rest of the media.
Migrants tried to board a school bus this morning while it was traveling to a school. The superintendent for the Humboldt del Zura Union School District informed parents of that incident earlier today. It happened at one of the stops on the school district's bus route that heads to Oak Grove Middle School and Humboldt Primary. Meanwhile, yesterday afternoon, in a similar area along another route, the superintendent says that a group of migrants tried to stop another bus. Border Patrol, CHP, and the Sheriff's Office have now been informed of these incidents. The superintendent says that for the safety of everyone, if a driver sees a group of migrants at a bus stop, they will drive past it and move on to the next.
Okay, so 2 separate incidents of Kamala Harris's dreamers, Kamala Harris's illegals. First incident, a group of Kamala's illegals tried to board a school bus filled with elementary and middle school students. Somehow the driver got away. A separate incident, a group of Kamala's dreamers, Kamala's illegals, tried to stop a bus on the road. That's the only story I can find about this, by the way. Local news in San Diego, California. What were Kamala's illegals going to do with the children if they got them? And they did it twice that we know of. Have they given up? Are these 2 separate crews that were doing this? Was it one crew that hit both? We don't even have a time on this. It's pretty scary stuff. What were they going to do with those kids? I don't want to know. I just want the border shut down and the deportations to begin. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian. My name is Julian. You know me. I spoke to you about the paddleboard.
Mm-hmm.
Paddleboard stick.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to tell you, I saw something, I think it was in the New York Post, that these Venezuelans illegals were destroying this apartment building. They broke the door down.
Yeah, in Aurora, Colorado.
No, it was in Denver. It was in Denver.
Denver? Oh, they moved into Denver. Okay, they've got 2 cities. So the Venezuelan illegal gangs have 2 Colorado cities under siege. Okay.
Yeah, right. Okay, but anyway, I just want to tell you this. I know it's off topic, but with Steve Kane, he was worried about the election coming up.
Mm.
But as a counter on the map, we need to win. Sorry to bother you. I count up 124 electoral votes in blue states: California, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, New York, Vermont, and Maine. So that's already 124. I voted for Trump in 2016. I voted for him again in 2020. Again. But this is insane now. What about all these outdoor ballot boxes?
Well, there's a couple reasons I don't talk about this, okay? The one that I often say is this. You discourage people from voting when you do that. Yeah, I know. So that's one reason. And Laura Trump is on this. She runs the RNC. She's got a whole team about it. And the second thing is this. There's one topic that I don't bring up on the air. Ever, no matter what controversy is going on, and it's even on our ballot, and that's marijuana legalization. If I talk to you about legalizing marijuana, well, no, hold on, it does okay. But if you and I just had a 30-second conversation about legalization of marijuana, every line on the board would light up about that. Okay, and that issue that you're talking about is the same thing. If I have even a minor utterance to a caller about it, every line on the board will be that. And I think it's self-defeating to talk about that because it discourages the vote. I trust in the Trump family running the RNC to oversee all of that, and having endless discussions about it does nothing but depress our turnout because people, listen. People get busy and like, I'm so tired. I've been working all day and I'm so tired. I'm going to go home. We got to swap them at the polls, like President Trump says, and everything else will take care of itself.
It's not the party of John F. Kennedy, because John F. Kennedy was for God and country. These people, it's what they do, what they say, and now $150,000. Might approve to give to illegals. This is a joke with these people. They're nuts. All right. Anyway, sorry to bother you.
No, you're not bothering me. You're not bothering me. I'm not bothered. Why would I be bothered? Oh man, I want that $150,000 that they're talking about passing for down payment grants on home purchases in California. Is that only for non-citizens? I know the one in Oregon is because I'm wondering maybe my daughter can use it to. Put a down payment on a house, or she's American, so maybe she doesn't qualify. I don't know. All right, Barry's not going to be there at 7:45. I'll tell you next week. Our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, you're right about keeping on point and off certain topics that are non-important for the election. But on the bus issue, I'm telling you right now, if you're in a district where there's a bunch of illegal aliens, we need to have some people on them buses that are able to spot trouble and react properly. We got to stop that before it happens, Brian. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, and I wish that... have you heard this story anywhere other than me sharing it? Because
No, I haven't, Brian, and that really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because we should be hearing about it.
Well, yeah, and this story that I have is incomplete. I want to know if this was the same crew on both bus hijacking attempts, if they were separate crews. I want to know how the bus drivers saved these children. There's a lot of things. We're getting nothing. Nothing.
I think they need to put on buses in case the bus driver needs to floor it to get out of a certain situation or whatever, take evasive action and have the kids safe. Because we know that these people are sick. They're not being tracked. They're being allowed to roam in our country free. And
that's true. Yeah, I agree. All right, I got to run for the break, Jeff. So I give you the last word.
J.D. Vance has come such a far way in a short time firing back. He's like Kelly McElroy when she was press secretary for Trump.
Yeah, McEnany.
Him down. Yeah. And he is just as sharp as attacking better, and he is awesome.
I agree. Jeff from Maine, thanks for the call. When I was in school here in South Florida and I was still taking the school bus to school, we had armed bus drivers. On not every bus, but most of the bus drivers in Broward County in the 1980s, because that's when I rode the buses, okay, were armed. Not with guns, with their nails. right? Most of the bus drivers that we had were black ladies that had fancy, they had nails like Freddy Krueger, but they were painted nice with designs on them. And I tell you, if some guy tried to hijack our school bus, they would be in trouble. You guys know what I'm talking about? Absolutely. All right, now I want to talk about Joe Thomas, Jupiter Joe Thomas. And, what he's offering is amazing. Free copies of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All, which is a very good book. I've read the book. It's a quick, easy read that's filled with easy-to-understand, actionable advice for anyone who's retired or plans on being retired at any point in their life. But he's also offering free phone consultations, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located. And, Joe Thomas, he has over 30 years of experience in retirement planning. He's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by less than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So he's a top guy in the business, and he's offering you free phone consultations. Pretty good deal. If you're already retired or you plan on retiring today or in 20 years, give him a call. Talk to him about annuities. He'll talk to you about how you can protect your money from stock market losses, how you'll stop losing money. You don't have to worry about the stresses of the ups and downs of the market. And, of course, you can generate income when you are retired. His number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. But if you missed the number, just go to his website, JupiterJoe.com. JupiterJoe.com. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hey everyone, Brian Craig here. You asked Mike Lindell and he listened. Mike's offering the queen size My Pillow for just $19.
Yeah, he's in a meeting, and I missed his text earlier. He wanted to do it at 7:15, and I did miss the text. 8:55. So what I'm going to try to do at 8:30 is take that break a little early, and then take the gold report as soon as you have him on the line. Try to take that a little early. So we got, you know what I mean? So we don't get backed up and have 2 call-ins. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. So whatever time you do a break, I'll do the few minutes or the longer minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. I'll just go to the phones. We covered a lot today. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Bob.
Hey, Bob, can you turn down the volume in the back? Yeah.
I just did that.
I love Stewart. My in-laws live in Stewart. Very nice town.
Caller,
Welcome.
Morning, you get me up and going.
Oh, good. Well, welcome. I love Stewart.
It's a nice town. The reason I'm calling is regarding this bus situation in San Diego. At the very end of that broadcast, it said, if the bus came to a stop and there were migrants there, the bus is to continue on and not stop. And the first thing I thought about is, what about the kids that are sitting there waiting for the bus?
Yeah, and the migrants, the illegals, very well could be the parents of the kids on the bus too, because there's so many illegals in Southern California. It's really a messed up story, and the fact that it's not being, I found this in the local news in San Diego. I can find no other stories about it anywhere, and to me, it's one of the biggest stories, and it has to do with Kamala, since she's the border czar.
No doubt, but I mean, just think of those kids that are sitting there. There's migrants there with them. They're probably just waiting to get on this bus, and the bus comes, and now the bus is told don't stop.
And so the illegals, so that's a perfect solution for the government. So the kids are left stranded without a bus driver to get kidnapped by the illegals.
Yeah, they're left stranded. They can't even go to school, and now they're there. The bus leaves, and the migrants are there with them.
Obviously this story's not getting any attention because it's another thing that involves Kamala. What were they going to do with those kids if they took those 2 busloads of them? Elementary and middle school kids. What were they going to do? Take them to Mexico? Send them to brothels? What were they going to do?
Well, I lived in San Diego for a while. I guess it was close to a town called Hamul. It said Hamul is very close to the border.
Mm-hmm.
There's a road that goes directly down there, so who knows what they were going to do?
Yeah, exactly. By the way, do you support that Brightline station in Stewart being built?
At first I was, but now I'm starting to read the paper, and it's supposed to be like $82 million to the taxpayers. So.
I mean, yeah, but I would be in Stewart a lot more if they build that Brightline station. I got one right down the street from my house in Boca, so we'll see. All right, I appreciate the call, man, from Stewart. All right, take care. You know, Stewart, I did a YouTube video on Stewart a year or two ago. It is the most MAGA town in America, Stewart. The most MAGA town in America is Stewart, Florida. In MAGA Martin County. And I did a whole video on that. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jessica, West Palm Beach.
Hey, Jessica.
How you doing? I'm questioning and I'm wondering, and I want to know if you know, how is it that the same issues keep appearing every election cycle in the ballot box?
See what I mean about the marijuana? Okay, go ahead.
And the abortion, the before.
That's obvious.
So that those two issues were settled a long time ago. Why is it that the public keeps coming up to this issue?
Yeah, it's easy. What? Now let me add. Okay. There are two issues on the Florida ballot this time. One is legalization of marijuana, and you stoners out there, I don't want to take any calls on it. And the other one is making abortion pretty much illegal, right? Why do you think those two things are on the ballot? It's pretty obvious.
The only thing that I can think of is that the liberals, communists never give up. They never give up.
No. That's true, but the reason they put those radical issues on the ballot is they think it gets more liberals out to vote. It's to increase the liberal voter turnout. Yeah, because of the
presidential election.
Yeah, and yes, and you know the stoners though, the potheads, they might vote Republican because they're high and they think it's funny. You know what I mean, to vote Republican. So that doesn't. But the abortion thing is they think it'll help them with their turnout, and maybe it does. I don't know, but that's why they do it.
I'm fed up with that. I'm always voting against that thing in every election cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with this issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know when we're going to get rid of these people.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk to you about what's going on in my home country where I was born.
Which one is that? What? Which country?
Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
We are suffering with the invasion of Haitians. And you know whose fault is that? The Democratic Party, the UN, and Amnesty International that are forcing the Dominican government to take 3 million illegal Haitians into our country.
You know, the Dominican. This is really amazing because it's two countries on one island. One side you got the Dominican Republic, the other side you have Haiti. Haiti is an anarchy. Okay, it's run by warlords and cannibals. Literally, they had right. Yeah, it's a total anarchy. Yeah, it always has been. And the Dominican Republic is really one of the jewels of the Caribbean, right? It's like Puerto Rico. It's beautiful. It's really first world by these standards. And it's really amazing how you've got one country that's a perfect, beautiful, safe place, and then right next door you've got an anarchy in Haiti. It makes no sense to me.
Why? It's history. It's historical. The Dominican Republic was colonized by Spain. Haiti was colonized by the French.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the French have done worldwide. Well, all the countries they have colonized. I'm not saying that the Spaniards were, easy. No, they were not easy, but it was completely different. That's why we're very different. Well, the Dominicans very different from Haiti. Very different.
Yeah.
Our constitution is better. Our democratic government is better. We respect elections. Even though we don't like that our president finished his term, contrary to Haitians, but that's
Yeah.
What we're suffering here is the Dominican Republic might be a country that is going to disappear in the near future because of the folks.
Well, but I'll tell you, I mean, I feel your pain. But ours is we gotta save America first. Then we can't, Oh, they're evil.
Evil, they're evil.
No doubt.
And I'm a U.S. citizen. I am not voting for the Democrat. I will never do, because voting for the Democratic Party, not only we're going to finish and end the USA, okay, which was a great country before, but it's also going at the same time disappear my home country.
I'm so sorry. Well, we're going to save Dominican. We're going to save it. All right, we're going to the Dominican Republic on our next cruise, by the way, and I'm looking forward. We're going to Puerto Plata.
Loves the Dominican Republic. Trump loves the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And he knows what's going on there. And I feel that if he wins, he will respect our sovereignty.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. All right. Yeah, Puerto Plata is one of our destinations, and it's beautiful. Oh man, we got a shore excursion there that is out of this world. I'll tell you. Yeah. The Parkland shooting was in 2018. And it was god-awful. And you know what saved a lot of lives there were police officers. Not that coward resource officer that was pretending to do things and while kids were getting killed, but police officers, including one guy who was watering the grass behind the place. They went in. And Nicholas Cruz, he got away, but he stopped what he was doing because police officers with guns went in there. You know, some unarmed school teachers went in to save the kids, and they got killed. But the police officers, Coral Springs PD, they went in there, and he stopped killing people. That was in 2018. This is Kamala Harris when she was running for president in the 2020 election cycle in 2019. Okay, I know a lot of numbers here, but this is Kamala Harris in 2019 after the Parkland shooting.
Being incarcerated for a couple of days is traumatic, much less the weeks, months, and years that we're seeing that happen. And so part of my plan is also a reduction of that. And then also, again, what we need to do about demilitarizing our schools and taking police officers out of schools. We need to deal with the reality and speak the truth about the inequities around school discipline.
Oh my goodness. Okay, she wants police officers out of schools. Oh, that's great. Would you send your child to a school that on the sign in front of the school they say this school does not have a police officer? Would you send your kid to a school that advertised that they don't have a cop there? Hell no, you wouldn't. Hell no, you wouldn't. You know, that police officer that they had in Parkland, I don't know how he escaped. I don't know how he got found not guilty. I mean, maybe they overcharged him. Who knows? But police officers saved a lot of lives in Parkland that day. He would have kept doing what it was he was doing if police officers didn't arrive. And he knew it. That's why he planned a very sophisticated escape. This is after Parkland. She wants to take police officers out of schools. Is she out of her mind? This is what happens when you're a childless cat lady and you don't send kids to school. You support stupid ideas like that. Now, I want to remind you guys, there's an incredible deal going on at MyPillow.com. Mike Lindell is offering the MyPillow that started it all for just $19.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. It is a beautiful pillow. It makes a great Christmas gift. This is the lowest price ever. I've been sleeping on the MyPillow for many, many years. And, and I paid $65 for that pillow years ago. Now, you're getting the wholesale employee pricing, just $19.98, with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. It's a great time to do your Christmas shopping. My wife and I have already started. You can use our promo code site-wide, and it's free shipping on all orders over $75. So go to MyPillow.com, get that MyPillow. Whoever, get it for yourself. You can also order them and keep them for Christmas. Whoever receives it, they'll love it. Promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at MyPillow.com. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be back right after our top-of-the-hour break.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone from the All Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Thursday, August 29th, 2024, and right now it's 78 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 89 degrees with partly cloudy conditions from 7 to 9 a.m. with thunderstorms expected after 9 a.m. So make sure you keep an umbrella close by, stay cool, stay dry, and have a safe, wonderful rest of the Thursday morning.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Traffic southbound slowdowns from Southern Boulevard to Lake Worth Road. A crash has the on-ramp blocked in Delray Beach 95 south from Atlantic Avenue. A crash in West Palm Forest Hill Boulevard east of Military Trail. This traffic update is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. 3-day weekend. Before you go, drive into any Valvoline Instant Oil Change. They'll change your oil in about 15 minutes. Quick but never rushed. Convenient locations and no appointment needed. Visit VIOC.com for up to $15 off your next oil change. That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC's Comedy and Dinner Show season is underway with dancing events live in the paddock. Let It Be November 8th, Jimmy Fallon for 2 nights, November 15th and 16th, Petty Nicks November 22nd, and more. Plus, check out the exciting OTB action in the Paddock Restaurant, which is the ultimate dining, events, and sports experience. And don't forget about Feastin' Football every NFL Sunday. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours at one of those big labs. That's why I go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
Prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only 2 advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio. Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All righty, the third hour has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. You okay, Steve?
No.
Why, what's the matter? What's the matter? Oh, yeah, well, okay. If you're on hold, stand by. I had something I wanted to share before we go to the phones, unless you have something you want to do. Okay, I want to start with... okay, all right. The Drudge Report, many years ago, used to be the go-to spot for news. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but after they broke the Lewinsky scandal, that was it. You know, you went to the Drudge Report. There was no Twitter. They had everything. White House press conferences. They would ask about things on the Drudge Report, and it was incredible. And Matt Drudge was incredible. In the last few years, something has happened. A lot of people think some liberals have bought it from Drudge. I don't know. But it's not what it used to be. It's a worthless website that I used to go to several times throughout the day. In fact, I remember when Obama first got elected, his first press secretary, Gibbs, there was a big story, I can't remember what it was, about Obama on the Drudge Report. They asked Gibbs about it. He hadn't been to the Drudge Report. And I remember the reporters were outraged. They said, how can you come out here and speak to the press at that podium without looking at the Drudge Report first? I couldn't believe it. These were mainstream reporters from like the network said that to, was his name Robert Gibbs, if I remember correctly. But it's become a liberal hack piece. Maybe it's CCP. I don't know. They have a headline, and it's J.D. Vance yelling into a microphone, and it's with his mouth wide open, and this is the Drudge Report headline right now. J.D. unhinged. Kamala can go to hell. Can I say that? Do I have to dump myself? I can say go. Okay. Yeah, okay. J.D. unhinged. Okay, I'm going to play the audio of the unedited of the entire section that Drudge is talking about here. It's 1 minute and 34 seconds. This is what they're describing as J.D. unhinged is the headline. Okay? And you decide, is he unhinged? I think he sounds quite reasonable. Listen. Oh, and let me just set this up. This is yesterday in Erie, Pennsylvania. He had a speech, and then he just decided to start taking random questions from random people in the audience. And they were random. He didn't know who any of these people were, and some of the questions were really stupid, like, have you consulted with Mike Pence about running for vice president? You know, so just, you know, that's kind of let you know that they were random. So this is what the Drudge Report headline is describing as J.D. unhinged.
Is the media creating a story where I really don't think that there is one. There is verifiable evidence. There is verifiable evidence that the campaign was allowed to have a photographer there. There's verifiable, they were invited to have a photographer there. There's verifiable evidence that the families of these poor people who had their loved ones die 3 years ago at Abbey Road, they had, Abbey Gate, those 13 Americans, a lot of them were there with the president. They invited him to be there and to support them. That's not an insult to the memories of their loved ones. They wanted Donald Trump there, and thank God that we have a president who stands with our veterans instead of one who runs away from them. You know what I think our veterans care a lot more about? That Kamala Harris's VP nominee lied about his military service. I think that our veterans care a lot more about that. But to have those 13 Americans lose their lives and not fire a single person is disgraceful. Kamala Harris is disgraceful. We're going to talk about a story out of those 13 brave, innocent Americans who lost their lives. It's that Kamala Harris is so asleep at the wheel that she won't even do an investigation into what happened, and she wants to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. She can go to hell.
Okay, where's the unhinged part? By the way, I lost the connection with Steve, but they're working on it and they're in, Mike. It's not on already. Where's the unhinged part that Drudge is talking about? Where is it? It's not there. It's a fake headline. What a disgrace Drudge is. Those of you that remember the glory days of Drudge know what I'm talking about. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian?
Yes.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Hi.
Listen, I just wanted to say something about Kamala's policy. I think she should come to Europe and be the president of, like, I don't know, for example, France or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the policies that you talked, like, for example, the school and the policemen, that they cannot be there, or, you know, the tax of when you have a long time a house and then... Excuse me, you have to pay a tax after. Oh my God, something.
You okay?
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah. It is, this is so far left, the group of like, for example, France.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly the same policies that European have.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's why she likes their policies. She likes all this weird stuff. So she comes to France and she be the president of France.
Yeah, well, good, yes. She can be the president of France. I have no problem with that. Send her over there. She can be the president of France. Yeah, that's a good idea. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, IB and Broward.
Hey.
Hey, you can hear me okay?
Yes.
You know, to me, when I hear Kamala's voice, it's like listening to the nails on a chalkboard. I cannot stand that lady. I wouldn't have called in except for the endangerment of children. What is it with these people and the kids? The abortions, the kidnapping, the trafficking, the rapes. What is it with them? Why would we be talking about defunding schools from protecting our kids? The only thing I can think of is you want the kid to be kidnapped for ransom or sex trafficking.
Well, no, Kamala was in that clip I played where she wants to take police out of schools is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But that was in 2019 when she was running for president last time, and she was trying to be the BLM candidate. Yeah, after the Parkland massacre, she yeah.
One that was saying after she got all the Summer of Love people.
She was raising money to bail out looters from jail.
Remember this. She's saying they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They're not going to. What is it with these people and the kids? Like, what is the Jezebel? Get them what?
She is a childless cat lady, and she just doesn't have a bond with. She doesn't have a mothering instinct. She doesn't understand. She doesn't care about kids.
Democrats. Is your child not there in danger too, just like the Republicans?
Mm-hmm.
Were they not? Were your business not in danger?
Exactly. I know. I appreciate. All right, IB. I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. I'm Chris from Pamela.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah. No, great. I mean, Mr. Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. Now he's sharp. He's on his feet, and clearly President Trump picked a like-minded candidate this time. I guess with Pence it was strategy and a guy that he thought was clean cut because he would get torn to shreds through the press. But wow, what refreshing! I mean, and look at this. They can say anything. They're talking about unhinged. I just don't like them not being held accountable for just stretching any sign of a story. I mean, there has to be some accountability for whoever's considered a Democrat operative or press or using their seats. When I say that, I mean people who are on the air like Mad Owl or The View.
Mm-hmm.
I know we have free speech that they want to take away from us, but why can they say anything they want?
Mm-hmm. Well, Democrats have never been held accountable for anything that they say or do. I don't know why. I often say they're like James Bond. They have a license to kill, literally. I mean, this story. I'm going to play the story again after the break because I think it's so important and no one's reporting it. But the Kamala's illegals that tried to kidnap 2 school buses of children in San Diego this week. Democrats have complete immunity. What kind of dog is that?
It's like it's some type of breed. I'm walking.
What are you at a dog park?
I'm just in my neighborhood here by Pompano Beach High School.
Oh. How is that at Pompano Beach High School? Is that a safe area, Pompano Beach High School?
For the most part. I mean, it's...
For the most part. You're a big black guy. You're safe, right? Where what's the closest intersection to that school you're at? Like the big intersection?
It would be 8th Street and 18th Avenue where I live. Well, the Pompano Beach Community Center is right there.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be walking around there.
Dude, another park. Everything's really nice.
Really, I'll tell you what I'm wearing right now. Would I be safe? Of course, I've got my Make America Great Again MAGA hat on, but I'm wearing a T-shirt. It's the where Trump got shot and he got up and he said, "Fight, fight, fight." Would I be safe walking through there in Pompano? White guy, MAGA hat with the Trump shirt on?
I think you'll be fine here because I see several, Trump Vance yard signs here.
Oh, great. Pompano's going MAGA?
A lot of flags.
Great.
average home here, yes, it gets multiple use properties, but the average single family home here, my lord, this is old historic Pompano, would be $700,000.
Oh my gosh, really?
You have some skin in the game if you live over here.
Really? $700,000 in Pompano?
Oh, easy.
Wow, that's awesome.
If you go down Northeast 4th Street, you're going to see a lot of the old, like 2 and 3.
Well, you know when you see an American flag in front of a house, you know that a Democrat doesn't live there, right?
Exactly.
I mean, what exactly? What does a Democrat put an American flag in front of their house these days? Never. All right, I appreciate the call. Well, let me tell you about Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. You know, there's a holiday weekend coming up here, 3-day weekend. Start that 3-day weekend pain-free. I tell you about this because it's really, to me, it's amazing. As I was getting older and I was having these aches and pains and everything, I just thought that was, okay, getting older. I remember Grandma and Grandpa, they had all these aches and pains, and they were my age when I was a little kid. But that's not the case. Being in pain is not a part of growing old. It doesn't have to be. If you go see Dr. Appleton and take advantage of his laser wave pain treatment, you'll be pain-free like me. You know, you don't want to take pain medications. First off, most of them are addictive. But no matter what, the pain medication, all it does is mask the pain. The injury's still there. Dr. Appleton's laser wave pain treatment actually repairs the damage that is causing you the pain. That pain is a signal that something needs fixing. And the laser wave pain treatment repairs the damage causing the pain. That's why the pain does not return. I don't even take aspirin. Take nothing. He's rid me of pain 5 times. Arthritis, knee pain, shoulder injuries. You've heard me, you've heard me go through the list of pains that it works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Give him a call. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. All right? We'll be right back. Hey, how's it going?
It had to do with World War II. And you were once... I know the one about the dentist? Yes. This is stranger than fiction. It's true. You once told. I know the one about the dentist? Yes. This thing is stranger than fiction. It's true. To make it short, I had some dental work to be done. You know, they put in temporary fillings. And I had never had it done before. What is it, lead? They put, I think in those days they were putting in temporary lead fillings. Yeah. It was quite a while ago. During the war. Yeah. And World War II. Yes. And I had several, upper lower. And I went to work that day, and I got home very late. And it was, I don't remember what year, but it was after they had taken the Japanese out of California.
This is amazing.
Italian cuisine. For the month of August, new and trending wine with dinner, courtesy of the True Oldies channel. Monday through Thursday from 5 p.m. to close. Just ask your server. Also, check out their Instagram for additional promotions, theme nights, and so much more. 388 restaurant by MrSal.com.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. I am pleased to say our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are truly the best customers we have ever had. They are courteous, intelligent, honest, and quite a joy to work with. We have completed thousands of projects for the listeners, from repairs, single-family homes, large HOA complexes, and churches, with great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. So come on, and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell, 954-604-602, or find us on the web at LaportaContracting.com. The number again is 954-604-4602.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world.
All right, we're back. If you're on hold, stand by. It's 21 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. I wasn't going to do this on the air, but I'm going to do it. And it's going to take me a few minutes to do this, but I just want to share with you how things have changed in this country. I've been playing this news story out of San Diego. This attempted kidnapping of 2 school buses of elementary and middle school students by illegal aliens in San Diego this week. I found it on a local news story in San Diego. And, well, let me just play this, and then if you're on hold, bear with me. I don't know if I should do this on the air or not, but I'm going to do it. I don't care. You know, I got to make the point. There's no better way to do that with these examples I have. This is the original news story that I've been able to find nowhere else, and I've not been able to find any more details. This is local news in San Diego, California.
Migrants tried to board a school bus this morning while it was traveling to a school. The superintendent for the Humboldt del Sur Union School District informed parents of that incident earlier today. It happened at one of the stops on the school district's bus route that heads to Oak Grove Middle School and Humboldt Primary. Meanwhile, yesterday afternoon, in a similar area along another route, the superintendent says that a group of migrants tried to stop another bus. Border Patrol, CHP, and the Sheriff's Office have now been informed of these incidents. The superintendent says that for the safety of everyone, if a driver sees a group of migrants at a bus stop, they will drive past it and move on to the next.
Okay, and that's Fox Local 5 in San Diego. That's insane. Illegals tried to hijack 2 school buses filled with elementary and middle school students. Now, again, we don't know if it was the same crew that did both. One tried to board the bus. Somehow the driver saved the kids. The other one, they tried to stop the bus in the road. And what were they going to do with those kids? I don't know. But this is an invasion. This is a mass kidnapping they were attempting to do. What were they going to do with those kids if they got the buses? So yesterday, Ben Stiller, who I used to be a fan of, and his father, by the way, is a great actor. I know you know him from Seinfeld. He played George's dad in Seinfeld. But if you go back and watch him in he was a great actor in the movies, 60s and 70s. Very good actor, very good actor. And Ben Stiller, I was always a fan of Ben Stiller. Something About Mary and what was the other one? The Zoolander, all that stuff. And now I guess he's kind of retired and he's promoting all this liberal garbage. But this is him after he went to the DNC convention.
Good. Do you mind answering just a quick question why you came and what you like about Harris' platform?
Just very excited about moving forward and all the energy and excitement that's around this movement right now. So that's why I'm here, because it's time for change, and it seems like it's happening.
It's time for change. He's backing Kamala. Time for change. Now remember, Kamala has been in the White House for 4 years now. I don't know how it's a change. And Democrats have controlled the White House for 12 out of the last 16 years. Now, his only defense is that he is in character as Derek Zoolander. That would be his only defense. I don't understand. And I bet you Ben Stiller with his millions of dollars, takes all those Trump tax cuts that Kamala's going to allow to expire. But the reason I play this, Hollywood was not always traitorous like this, okay? You know, Ben Stiller here is, he lives in California where these bus hijackings by the illegals was attempted this week, and he's supporting the woman behind it, Kamala Harris, the border czar. And the part that I wasn't going to do on the air that I am going to do, and I don't know, maybe, you know, I'll probably hear from Steve that I shouldn't do this. I heard about this and saw this many years ago, and I went and searched for it yesterday. Lucille Ball from I Love Lucy was on the Dick Cavett show. And there was a time when these Hollywood actors were actually patriotic Americans who would go out of their way to protect Americans from our enemies. And I want to play this for you. And Dick Cavett is terminally boring. You know, Steve used to work on the Dick Cavett show. And, Dick Cavett, I don't know how this guy ever got on TV. He's a no talent. I think is he still alive, Dick Cavett? But he had Lucille Ball on. And Lucille Ball tells this story about how in the Second World War, she helped round up Japanese spies. Listen to this. It's a little long, but if you're on hold, bear with me.
It had to do with World War II. And
I know the one about the dentist.
Yes, this thing is stranger than fiction.
Well, it's true. To make it short, I had some dental work to be done. You know, they put in temporary fillings, and I had never had it done before. What is it? Lead?
I think in those days they were putting in temporary lead fillings.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I understand. Lucille Ball is a woman of a few thousand words, but it's a good point to be made.
It was quite a while ago.
During the war.
Yeah, and
World War II.
Yes, and I had several. Upper North. And I went to work that day, and I got home very late. And it was, I don't remember what year, but it was after they had taken the Japanese out of California, and unfortunately put them in the camps, which was a very sad time in California. And we were all on our guard, you know, about many things. This particular night was about 1:15. And I was driving alone. I had 35 miles to drive, and it wasn't fun. It was just a normal night. I wasn't frightened or anything. I was just driving along, and a road that I'd taken many times, and all of a sudden, music. But I looked down to turn off my radio, and it wasn't on. And I turned around and looked to see if there's anyone behind me. And the music was getting louder and louder and louder. And I realized it was in my mouth. Beating in my ears. And yeah, I could hear the tune and everything.
This is a true story, by the way.
Started to fade out.
Yeah.
Oh, what the is that? You know, what could it possibly be? And I didn't know what it was. So the next day I mentioned it at the studio to Buster Keaton. And he said, what street were you on, Moore Park? And I said, yes. He said, you went by the radio station, you picked it up. I said, yes. He said, you picked it up in your teeth. Well, I could hardly wait to go by there again. And I didn't go by at the same time of night, so nothing happened. There was no music playing, but I could hardly wait.
Call in a request.
Right. But about 5 nights later, because I had to wait, I don't know, a couple of weeks for those teeth that were getting fixed. I was going up another street, almost home, and I was passing 4 vacant lots that were all raised so they could build the Birmingham Hospital. And as I went by there, I heard picking it up with my teeth.
You mean?
And I stopped the car. Then I looked around, in the Morse code, like.
And I backed the car up, and it got stronger and stronger, and I kept on backing it up until it really got strong, and my whole jaw was vibrating. Like that. And then I got the hell out of there. I went like this, and it was very late. And I couldn't wait to get back to MGM the next morning and tell the security office, and they found an underground Japanese transmitting radio station. Honest to God.
That is.
Yeah, now that is a true story, by the way, and it was a whole ring of Japanese spies that were in Los Angeles that Lucille Ball turned in to the government, and they got them all. And there's been a big change in this country. Here you've got Ben Stiller, who, like Lucille Ball at this point in her life, she was pretty done, like he is today. You've got Lucille Ball, who's turning in spies, and then you've got Ben Stiller, who's supporting someone for president that's allowing these attempted kidnappings of 2 school buses of children in San Diego this week. And there's been a big change, not just in Hollywood, but throughout the media. And this story with the school bus that I've been talking about today, I got a million other things that I wanted to get to. I've only gotten to like 3 or 4 topics today, and I've been going back to that one because during the breaks I've been searching for that story to get more details. I can find it nowhere, and let me tell you, it wasn't hard for me to find that original story in San Diego. All the people that all the media outlets around the country know about that story because they go to the same places I go to do their research and show prep and such. All the producers at all the cable news networks know all about what happened in San Diego, and they're all sitting on it. There's at least 1, maybe 2 crews of school bus hijackers in San Diego, and no one wants to tell anyone about it. Even the local news that reported it, there's very little detail, and there's a lot of reluctance to it. What's happened to the left? Lucille Ball out in Hollywood turning in a Japanese spy ring. I heard her tell that story many times to many different people, and now what do you have? You have a cover-up of when things like that are going on today. If you're on hold, stand by. If anybody has any updates on that story out of San Diego, DM it to me on one of the socials, because I can't find any more details, and certainly I think people need to know, especially in California, if they're going to put their kids on school buses, if they got these guys. Right? Are the crews still active? Were any arrests made? Are they investigating it even? I don't know. All right, callers on hold, stand by. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be back with your calls after this.
Speakers in here work, right?
Oh, you haven't got them working yet?
Your friends and check out the
Yeah, they're both working. Are yours working? Hmm.
My Pillow towel set for just $25. The bed sheets, they're $25 too. The new My Pillow mattress topper as low as $69.98. Go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code Kane for these huge discounts. You can also order by phone. 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com.
Your next cruise vacation with Margaritaville at sea. And the best time to book it is right now because we're bringing back our best sail of the year on all cruises through 2026. For a limited time, pay for just one guest and up to 3 guests can sail along for free. Bring your friends, your kids, or your favorite travel pals on award-winning cruises to Key West, the Bahamas, and the Caribbean, and save up to $5,000 when 3 sail for free. Book your holiday getaway at sea or next year's epic cruise vacation today at margaritavillatsea.com.
Are you living your best life? Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people get back to feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease, sexual vigor and excitement, great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of aging. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise, easy, and effective from day one. Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150 per month for most patients. Let our medical team get you optimized and living your best life. Our family medical practice has been serving South Florida for over 71 years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
And now, a message from Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com.
This is Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com. I'm back. Dog days of summer are upon us. Your AC is struggling. Running constant, trying to hold the temperature. Maybe
Got the Appleton. What's left? Oh, yes. Now, guys, if you've not already done it, order your copy of Robert Allen Miltenberg's new book, The Sound of Light. There is a link available in the description of the video to Amazon. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it is free. If you just have Kindle and Unlimited, it's very low cost, and the paperback I have here is just $9.99. Robert Allen Miltenberg is in the YouTube channel all the time. This is his 3rd book that I've promoted for him. They're very good. I've read all his books. They're all very, very good. The Sound of Light. A link in the description. You can just search for it on Amazon. The Sound of Light from Robert Allen Miltenberg. All right? Oh boy, Zachary. All righty, we are back. Call us on hold. Stand by. Our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Now, this is Paul calling from the UK.
In the UK. All right, put your mouth closer to the phone. You're far away. You're an ocean away. So. Go ahead. I can hear you. Yes. It's interesting. You get a call from a Muslim country and all.
This is true.
Yes.
I'm just basically playing on the fact of the immigration that you spoke about with the thing that's happened in San Diego. And I listen to you a lot because I do a lot of work in the States. I do a lot of work in South Florida, so I'm over there an awful lot. Hence why I listen to your show in the morning. The thing that's happening in America is also happening in the UK. I mean, these undocumented migrants that are coming over the border every single day, and the media outlets don't talk about it. The millions that is being spent every single day to house these people in four-star hotels. You know, they're given money every day. They're given cell phones. They're given everything by the government, but nobody's allowed to talk about it. And the crimes being committed by these people
it's a little early,
is also not being talked about. The media
39.
Don't discuss it. The fact that you go into any city centre now in the United Kingdom,
Just like a minute or two early.
Yeah. London's an unsafe place to be.
Yeah. He won't be there if you call this early.
In a small city in the UK, and I've got 3 young children ranging from 3 to 10. And we've got another one on the way, which is great news. But the world that they're coming into, this isn't safe. You wouldn't want your wife and children walking around the street.
Well, you know, I've got news for it. I mean, England is lost. I mean, you're a small country, just about the size of Florida, right? And you're lost. You know, they you know, all that great EU thing. That was it. You're done.
Remember about the UK, which is quite tragic, and what's nice about America, you still have right, you still have left. When it comes to voting, you have choices. Well, you have to remember the United Kingdom, there's no right or left anymore. Everyone agrees with the same agenda. Everyone's complicit.
You know when I knew it was over for you guys. What was that concert a few years ago in the UK where there was that bombing? Whose concert was that? Was it Ariana Grande? Yeah, Ariana Grande. Yeah, and I remember when Manchester. When that bombing happened in Manchester, and then there was an incident on one of the bridges in London with the knife, okay? And I was watching the news here, and they were interviewing people at both incidents live. And I saw two guys that were regular Englishmen, right? Except for one thing. Each of them were wearing those scarves like Yasser Arafat used to wear with that blue checkerboard pattern. And I talked about it on the air that I said England's done. When Muslim fashion is becoming what white Englishmen are wearing, we're done. It's gone.
Remember here as well, the moment anybody speaks out now in the United Kingdom, you are classified as far right. You're classified as dangerous.
Yeah.
You're classified as an outcast.
I saw a story this morning. A child in the UK, the police came and picked him up because he commented on a social media post about the immigration problem you're having in England, and the police came to his house. I don't have the story at my fingertips right now. I read it this morning, but that's right. Well, that's. Yeah.
To say to the American public and the people listening to your show, and obviously you in particular, what we have to remember here, the agenda is the same. Flooding our countries with illegal immigrants that are not documented. There's a bigger agenda at play. Whatever that agenda may be, that's what it feels like to us.
Yeah, that's right. Now listen to this. Listen to this story. Listen to this story. This is in the Gateway Pundit. This is insane. I just read this morning. This is in the UK, in the Evening Standard's the original source in England. British police have arrested an 11-year-old boy suspected of taking part in riots in the Northeast earlier this month. The young boy was one of 14 arrested during a series of raids carried out by the police because he posted something on social media about the immigration issue, about an anti-immigrant protest. The police came to the home of an 11-year-old boy. And they do this in Canada, too. Just because we all speak English doesn't mean we're all free.
There's one fundamental thing, all the research I do on it and the readings that I do on it, the World Economic Forum. At the end of the day, our governments don't matter anymore. The Canadian government and the Trudeau government, Australia is exactly the same. You have to remember, and Biden's complicit with this, and so is Kamala Harris. The truth of the fact is, this is run by...
That's right, the globalist.
The globalist policy.
My wife has a cousin who's English, okay, and she lives in London. And she's pretty well-to-do, okay, which she doesn't mind telling you about all the time. But she's English, her whole family are English, they have kids. And my mother-in-law went to visit, they were at work. She goes to the local store to get something to eat. It was all Muslim foods in there. She didn't even know what the stuff was. And, they're taking over, and there's a lot of Sharia going on over there. And my wife's cousin said, well, they have a right to their own government inside the UK. Their own government? What are they? That's the liberal attitude.
This is the thing now. This is the corkscrew duplicity of it all. The truth of the fact is, they have rights as well. And, this idea that we're trying to be nice, that quintessential English ideology that everybody has to speak nicely about everybody.
No.
Hey, we to be nice to fellow people. I understand.
Listen, we have it here. This Tim Waltz in Minnesota, Somalia, the Somalians have taken over a huge part of Minnesota. They have their own police. They have their own government, right? And they make their own laws. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. It's good to hear from you. And are you calling me? Are you in the UK or are you in Florida?
I'm actually currently in the UK.
Oh, my goodness.
About to walk into the post office.
Oh, my goodness. How much did this call cost?
Look, the same thing's going on over here as well. And there's got to become a point where we need to know more information about it. It's very, very scary stuff.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
All right, I appreciate that. I appreciate the call. If I knew he was on the UK, he wouldn't have been on hold as long. Oh boy, do you get charged long distance fees for being on hold? Oh my goodness. That was an expensive call. All right, our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening to us. We'll break in a moment for the Gold Report. We'll come back with your calls. But, you know, the reason I was talking to that guy is because what's happened there is what they're attempting to do here. We're just a big country, and they're not able to have the success that they've had over there. All right, we'll take a quick break and be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking today?
Metals looking solid above 2,500 still. Yesterday we saw gold move just below 2,500 and then rally back, but still closing down $19.80 at $2,504.10 the ounce, giving us a great buying opportunity yesterday. Silver was down 83 cents at $29.09. Still strong support for silver around $29. Platinum down $29 at $930 the ounce, and palladium down $29 at $928. So this morning we saw gold in a range of $2,503 on the low, all the way up to $2,525 on the high, and right now we're at $2,506. That's up $1.90. Silver at $29.30, up 20 cents. Platinum up $10 at $940. And palladium up $8 at $934. So markets are holding their own very well, and
absolutely
a little bit of pullbacks from time to time to give us a little bit of an edge on our buying, but still in a very good buying range.
Absolutely. You know, last week you were telling us about the great deals on pre-33 gold. Is that still in place?
Yes, it is. So we still have some great values on pre-33 gold. You can buy the old Double Eagles, $20 gold pieces from the 1800s and early 1900s for as little as 1% over their gold value. A fabulous deal.
Wow, that's amazing.
And the pre-1965 silver coins, 90% silver coins, at just $1 over spot. So great values on all the precious metals. And so whenever you get a pullback, it's a great buying opportunity, but you got great premiums also going in. We've seen these premiums so much higher over the years.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you know, William Youngerman, you'll say, because I'll ask you about it, and you'll say, nah, not right. I remember I was talking to you a couple years ago about the 90% silver, because I think those are fun, and you're like, no, it's too much. Don't buy it right now, Brian. But now these are great deals. You're saying buy. Same with the pre-33. One last thing. For people that are not into the metals, that are looking to get into the metals, and they're looking at gold, is pre-33 gold a good way to start?
Certainly, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, something historical that you can hold in your hands and enjoy owning.
That's exactly right. All right, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. His number, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. His address in Boca is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building. And, of course, you can find both his phone number and address on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
On the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All righty, let's go back to the phones. I hope we don't have anyone else holding on in Europe. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian, what's up? Little cheaper than that call from the UK. That guy was on hold for like 35 minutes, so I'm going to hear about that. Yeah.
He's probably going to send you a bill for that.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, Brian, if that call doesn't magnify the importance of the election we have coming here in the United States with getting Donald Trump in there, you see what's happened in England. I agree England's gone. It's very sad. I have a lot of relatives over there. If we do not win this election, that movement will accelerate here.
Oh, yeah.
And we won't even know what happened to this country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if those school bus things weren't traffickers.
Well, I got a little more information. I went to the website of that local news station. They happened on 2 different days. One was Tuesday. The second incident was yesterday. And the one yesterday, there were 20 illegals who tried to stop the bus in the road. And one of the incidents, the parents helped run them off. I can't believe there's no coverage of this. You know there's video. There's cell phones everywhere. And it's a total cover-up on this story.
Well, you know why? They could hang this story on Kamala.
That's exactly.
Yes.
I mean, and let me tell you, if I had, as an example, okay, if I had Kamala Harris on the program today, by the way, you're welcome. You know, Willie Brown's welcome too, but you know, she can bring Tim Waltz with her. I would play that story with her and talk to her about it. I mean that, and Dana Bash is not going to do anything. It's going to be a very generic softball. What is your favorite color? What is it like being you? You know, exactly. Yeah, it'll be like an Oprah Winfrey interview.
You know who would have gone near back in the day was Matthew Drudge, though. He was my favorite journalist.
Not anymore.
I know. I don't know what happened, if he got something on him or what, but in the day, he was the guy to go to. He was the source. And
you know, if there is a TV movie from a couple years ago about the Clinton impeachment. It's called Impeachment. Clive Owen plays Bill Clinton, and Matt Drudge is a big character in it. And it was an FX movie. You guys should go and watch that movie after 9 o'clock. Don't do anything until after 9 o'clock. But we got 9 minutes left. But you get to see the whole history of Matt Drudge, and that Matt Drudge used to be the top place for news for several years, and now look what you got, garbage.
I know. And everybody trusted this guy if he said it was gold. And like I said, I haven't looked at him in several years.
You know, he used to do a show on Fox News when Fox News was new, and Roger Ailes fired him. And what he did was unbelievable, what he got fired for. There was a photograph of this was insane, of a woman who had had a cesarean, and they cut open her stomach just a little bit, and the hand of the baby in the womb reached out to the doctors through the womb, and he showed the photo on Fox, and they fired him. Really? Yeah, over that. Yeah. That was in the 90s. He was. I mean, and that's. I mean, and the reason I share that is, even though he's gay, because Matt Drudge is gay, he's well known to be a gay guy. You know, he was one of the most conservative voices in the 90s, and most credible news sources in the 90s. And now look at what's happened.
Lost the whole thing. I don't know if they got something on him or what happened. I don't think
it's one of a couple things. A lot of people think he sold it and doesn't own it anymore. He lives in Hollywood, not Florida, California. Maybe it's hard to find guys to hook up with at the local bars if you're doing. I don't know, but something's happened over there, and a lot of people have investigated and not been able to get answers as to whether or not he still owns it.
Wow, there should be a way to track that down with the financial transactions, but I won't even look at any of his material now. And I just remember the day when I used to track him if at a breaking news.
I go there once or twice a month, and I used to go there once or twice every 10 minutes before. It was that big. People have if you don't remember the day of that, it was all right. Appreciate the call. All right, let's go. I'm going to go through these calls quick because these international people on hold. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is JJ from Mac.
Hey JJ, what's up?
Well, this bus thing is insane in California. I actually, just a segue, well, actually no, to another bus issue in Stoughton, Mass., which is south of Boston. They didn't have attempted kidnappings, but what they've got, this is from like a couple days ago, is that they've spent all the money on the illegals, and they don't have enough money for the bus transportation for like 100 kids. Because of all the illegals that are going to be going to school. There are approximately 100 kids or so that have to figure out their own transportation to school.
Oh, yeah.
That the illegals can go.
Well, there's two crews of illegals that are looking to take kids somewhere. Maybe they can carpool. I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
Hey, I need your advice. That He wants to know why he said that President Trump could have stopped January 6th. And this was a few months ago.
Oh, my goodness.
And his wife just asked me a couple days ago, you were on January 6th, what happened that day? So I I said, he couldn't have stopped it. And I believe it was...
Well, I tell you what you do. I don't know why you guys all have these liberal friends, but go on Twitter. There's a new video of Nancy Pelosi accepting responsibility again, where she talks about how she could have had the National Guard there, and then she turned it down. Her daughter, her. There's a new video. There's another video of her on January 6th talking about it in more detail that just dropped yesterday. You got to show it to your friend, and then ask him how Trump could have stopped it.
DeSantis, I know that, and so I don't know why they're questioning why anybody cares about that crap, but
yeah.
Anyways,
and if you and by the way, if you go back and you watch President Trump's speech in the Washington Mall. He had that bulletproof glass around him during that speech. It was the first time if you go back, and I was surprised that day that he had it there. I was watching it on TV. So it seems like he was concerned about his own safety. Why was he worried? If these were all his friends, why did he have bulletproof glass around him? Anybody wonder that?
goes back from him, and I didn't even notice that, so...
He may not answer. I didn't hear back from him. Yeah, go back and watch it. All right, Joe, and I appreciate the call. All right, if you go back to that was the because now he's got the bulletproof glass around him now, in the outdoor speeches. But I remember on January 6th, I don't think I'd ever seen him with the bulletproof glass and window behind him. And what I told Joe Ellen, if the people in the Washington Mall and the J6 people were all his people. Why the bulletproof glass? Exactly, because they weren't his people. I'd like to know how that happened. Because I haven't heard anyone talk about that. Now, I want to remind you guys, tomorrow is Friday, and, Friday is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday on Friday's show, and you can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. That's tomorrow. And, the other days of the week, you're limited to talking about the things that we want to talk about. But on Friday, the show is yours. Okay, we're going to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Hey, Barry, how you doing? Hey, Barry, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. What do you have for us this morning?
Well, what I wanted to talk about is, estate planning is not a one-size-fits-all scenario. It's not like you go into the store, pick it off the shelf, and then that's what you got. It's really something that takes consulting, counseling, having conversations, going deep into things that are very important. Talking about family situations, talking about your assets and how they're set up, and what your wishes are as far as who the right people are to handle certain situations. It may not be the same to handle financial versus your decisions, and then how we want to leave it, and some of the extra situations that you may have, whether you have a special needs beneficiary that is receiving government benefits, whether you have a pet that you want to plan for, whether you have significant IRAs and you want to make sure that those are handled properly. There's all kinds of things, and that's why at the Siegel Law Group, especially for the Steve Kane show listeners, we do a free 1-hour consultation. So we are giving an hour of our time to make sure that we sit down with you and everything to make sure that we set up a customized estate plan that is going to work for you and your family, protect you, provide peace of mind. But we don't stop there, because our plan is to make sure that you have a plan that works not just today, but all the way down the road, and will work for your life and beyond.
That's right.
We do those free consultations with the post-death consultations with the trust.
That's right. Now, Barry, we're almost out of time for today because we're a little off on our schedule today. But it is a no-charge consultation and with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Barry on the program, and they will review all your documents, even if they were done by another law firm, which you should do. That's how we met Barry. He reviewed Steve's, and his trustee was dead. people that he wasn't related to anymore were going to inherit. Give them a call. The number is toll-free, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. We're out of time. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m.
WSFS 104.3 HD3.
All right, guys, listen, thanks for watching. If you're new, subscribe, and everybody else that's already subbed, please like the video, okay? Take care. Thanks for watching, everyone.